Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on now, Ryan.
D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown.
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
wide
it?
Open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Oh, it's an ugly day out there. Not a great day to be outside or driving. That's for one thing. So this one of those days, I've got this thing going on. I don't know what it is, but I get really, really cold hands in cold weather. There's nothing I can do about it. Tip of my nose gets icy cold. The tips of my fingers could probably compete with Elsa from Frozen. I can't shoot ice out of my fingers, but I kind of feel like I can. So it's not a nice day to be outdoors in the great state of Arkansas, but it is a great day to be indoors listening to your favorite radio program. Phil Elson here along with Ty Richardson. It is halftime on a Thursday. 877-377-6963 is our Cherokee Casino hotline, so give us a call or give us a text, be a part of the show. Bob Holt joins us at the bottom of the hour. He'll be at a press conference with Eric Musselman at about 1:40 later on in the afternoon. They'll get set for Arkansas North Texas, which will be next Tuesday. Next up for Arkansas Athletics, soccer is in action later on today in the SEC semifinals of the tournament. Arkansas women's basketball opens up the season tomorrow. I was at practice yesterday with Mike Neighbors, got some observations and maybe some news that we can get to involve in the women's basketball team that opens up the season, ranked 22nd in the country. But, of course, all things lead to Saturday and all things lead to football and college sports, and that's what we're talking about today. So, it's kind of funny. You look at the Hooten's Arkansas football is still in, I was going to say the newsstands, if there are even newsstands any longer. But if you go to your local grocery store, you'll see those stands up, and it still has the Arkansas football magazine put out by Hooten's every year. And what's the word that stands out on the front of that cover? Ty, you've seen this thing. Do you remember the word that's right there on the front cover of Hooten's Arkansas football?
I actually might have it here.
I thought you might have it in the studios, but it says better.
Better.
Better, right. Like, what is supposed to be better? Football was supposed to be better this year. And I think it's pretty safe to say right now, 9 games in, that football is not better at all. Maybe in almost any aspect. And really what it's supposed to be about, Ty, is wins, right? At least the bar was set low this season for expectations, or at least what you would accept for a win total for the year. And I'd find it pretty rare, Ty, that a fan base as passionate as Arkansas is, that they would accept something that is less than bowl eligibility, which just happens to be a realistic look into what the state of Arkansas football, that it was just going to be a year that if you made it to a bowl game, you felt like, wow, we actually did that. 5 wins or 4 wins would have been enough to at least point to a total of victories that was a lot more than last year. And here you are now with 3 games left this season, and you are looking at a legitimate possibility of finishing with the exact same record inside the conference and out of the conference that you had last year in Chad Morris's first season. So, I mean, even with a win over Western Kentucky this Saturday, Ty, I don't think that you would really look at a total of victories of 3 and say, you know what, that's enough of an improvement to make you feel like things are moving in the right direction. Not in a season where the quarterback button has been pushed incorrectly every single game. Not in a season where you wasted the talents of a guy who's probably going to leave for the NFL in running back Rakeem Boyd. Not in a season where the best pass catcher on the team has been kicked off the team with 4 games left in the season, more than anything for voicing his opinion about who was starting at quarterback, and not in a season where now statistically, not just in wins, not just in tickets sold, in actual cold, hard stats, you can see that the numbers just aren't as good, or let's put it this way, they're worse than they were last year. You can't say aren't as good because they weren't good last year, and they're worse this season.
Andrew Hutchinson over at Hogbeat did an excellent job of kind of cataloging the differences between last year and this year in terms of the stats. Less points scored, less total yards, lower completion percentage, less rushing yards, less explosive plays. There are just so many different stats this year where you thought the offense was not going to necessarily take a Clemson step forward, but you thought they would be more of a manageable offense, more of a weapon on offense, and it hasn't been that way at all, Phil. It hasn't been that way at all. The offense hasn't looked good. Some would argue that Ty Storey would have done better his second year in the system than Nick Starkel or Ben Hicks in his fourth year, and it's just been a weird thing. And I know for most people, most coherent and just normal fans that aren't too crazy and aren't too pessimistic, aren't too optimistic. I heard Ruskin talking about this yesterday on Ruskin and Zach. 5 wins. And I said 5 wins. I said the floor was 5 wins in the offseason, 4 non-cons, 1 conference win. That's not asking too much. But to be in a situation that you just talked about, Phil, where this team potentially could be having the exact same record as they did last year is inexcusable and unacceptable, as Chad Morris has said many times this season and last season.
Well, and is there a chance that things turn around in the next 3 games? That would be a difficult thing to grasp. And I mean, do you want to take whatever happens on Saturday against Western Kentucky with a grain of salt, or are you more interested in what happens in the LSU game, or maybe more importantly, what happens the last game of the season against the Missouri Tigers? But it is obvious, and now you're at the point here where, at least at the end of October last season, Arkansas was kicking and scratching and fighting. Didn't let go of the rope until the last 2 games of the season. You have seen the signs of the rope being letting go in some areas, where you're getting pushed around 3 weeks in a row, getting completely blown out. I mean, now it's scored 153 points to 41 in these last 3 weeks. So perhaps the rope has been let go. And perhaps there's no way to turn that around. But maybe, just maybe, with the right person at quarterback, things might change a little bit for the next few weeks. And so, I mean, that leads to the conversation we got into a little bit yesterday, and I think that has sort of dominated all throughout the week about John Stephen Jones at quarterback. Is it the right quarterback to throw in there, or would it be KJ Jefferson? And I would agree with you, Ty. Ty Storey would have run this offense better than Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel, and we wouldn't have known that coming into the season. We would have had no idea that was the case, but I think it seems pretty obvious without any running threat at quarterback. Either the passing lanes haven't been there, or just you got quarterbacks that don't have the arm strength in the case of Ben Hicks, or the pocket presence in the case of Nick Starkel, making bad decisions here and there. But quarterback play has most definitely taken a step back, but so has defensive line play, so has offensive line play. I think the only area where you've gotten better is at wide receiver play, but these receivers haven't really had the opportunity to show what they can do. So I don't even know if statistically your receivers have been better than they were last year. I just don't think the quarterbacks and offensive line have given them the opportunity to do so. What it all comes down to, Ty, is it's been a giant mess for these first 9 games, and it doesn't seem like there's a way out of that mess.
Yeah, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, what we've talked about several times this season. The light at the end of the tunnel last year was the recruiting class that Chad Morris has put together with Trey Knox, Traylon Burks, Colin Clay, and some of the other standouts. But the recruiting class right now is, 13th in the SEC? With no hope of getting that much better. There's no recruit about to pick Arkansas that's within the top 100, top 150 or whatever. And so you're really worried about the future of this Arkansas football program because there's no saving grace. And people may say, what about Chandler Morris? I think people are so frustrated with Chad Morris right now that they're just going to kind of lump them together, Phil, unfortunately for Chandler.
You know, and with the soap opera that has been quarterback play this year and just the indecision from the coaching staff that's gone into that, adding the coach's son to this equation doesn't lessen the drama of the soap opera. It kicks it up a notch.
Yeah.
And that would make next season, if Chad Morris is still the head coach, almost a soap opera that's never been written before. It would really blow the minds off of a lot of people. We'll get to that more in a moment. We're brought to you by Breeden RV and Power Sports in Van Buren. Although it's pouring outside, it is camping time, and it will be nice and bright and sunny sometime soon. It's a great day to get out to Breeden RV and Power Sports, where the year-end clearance sale continues. Great deals on new RVs, travel trailers at $99.95, fifth wheels that are under $30,000, and of course all new customers get maintenance for life for free at Breeden RV and Power Sports in Van Buren. Go to BreedenRVs.com for more information. Your calls and texts 877-377-6963. We'll be right back.
To halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Tell me this, do you kiss on the first date?
This is the Morning Rush.
The lines are getting ridiculous in the bathroom, and people who don't want to spend money on water, they go in and refill their cups inside of the sink, and it's tap water.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help out the people out there in the
I'm not refilling my water bottle in the bathroom sink at the stadium. I'm sorry. No.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
It's time to plan the Christmas party for your business or family, and the place to make it a special and memorable time is at Doe's Eat Place in Fort Smith. Award-winning steaks and atmosphere, along with the largest wine selection in the River Valley, await your memorable evening. If you're thinking about what to get that hard-to-impress boss or family member, gift certificates from Doe's are sure to impress and bring a smile to their face. Don't delay making your reservations. Call Doe's Eat Place at 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 3rd Street. Open 5 till 9 Monday through Thursday and 5 till 10 Friday and Saturday.
Full-time farmers, hobby farmers, and landowners, your time is important. Make the most out of that time with a brand new Branson tractor from Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. With tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, we have a tractor that will fit your needs. Ask Bush Machine and Tractor about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith is Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer. Check their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Keep your stuff yours. Would you spend less than $500 to secure your home? Guardtronic offers a home security package for only $425 and $19.95 a month. If an alarm goes off, Guardtronic makes the call to get you help 24/7, 365. Celebrating 60 years in business, Guardtronic is a family-owned business, now in the third generation of folks who want to make sure your stuff stays yours. Call them today, 785-2323, or visit guardtronic.com. License E050.
Thank goodness that the fall season is upon us. And with this special time of year comes football, cooler weather, changing leaves, and free internet and phone service from Pinnacle Telecom. That's right. Switch your phone and internet service over to Pinnacle Telecom and get your first month free. Take advantage of Pinnacle Telecom's fast fiber internet and or hosted telephone service, and your first month's bill is on us. So let Pinnacle Telecom make your fall even better with this one-of-a-kind first month free promotion. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
And Derby's got the first down. A.J. Derby then hits the speed. How about that? Did he stay in? Touchdown, Arkansas!
Back on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. A couple of texts coming through here. Lane in Fayetteville says, hey, it's amazing. Phil gets cold when it's cold. I feel like I get colder than the cold. That's the whole thing with the tips of my fingers just getting really, really cold. I don't know what it is about this. Do I have a little Elsa from Frozen? Do you think that's what it is, Ty? Could I shoot ice?
I have not seen that movie.
Come on. Well, it's because you don't have any kids.
Yeah, I think that's it. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I just haven't seen it. So.
Are you telling me that I'm going to have to assign Frozen to you? This is a movie that came out during your childhood years. This doesn't make any sense.
Childhood years? You mean like
this was like 10 years old, isn't it? It was like 10 years old. That would make
Frozen?
you would make you like 14. When did this movie come
like
out?
3 years ago.
No, it did not come out 3 years ago. There's no way that movie came out 3 years ago.
Very recent.
Let's look this up
10
here.
10 years, my butt.
Gonna have to look now. You type in Frozen to a search, 2013, so 6 years ago. So we're kind of in between it.
Split the difference. Frozen 2 came out.
So, okay, you were what, 17? 17, you were a kid. Sorry, you were a kid when this movie came out.
I guess.
No surprise. I guess late teenagers wouldn't have seen that movie, so I guess it makes sense. Eric in Hot Springs changes the topic. He says, I think we're stuck with Chad Morris for at least one more season, and if there's not a major difference next season, he's gone. I think he's here, and we'll make changes at coordinators. Now, you know what, Todd? You might be at the point where it's too late to make changes at coordinators. If you get what I'm saying here, I mean, an athletic director can force a coach to do something that he's not comfortable in doing. And by the way, Chad Morris has never fired anybody as a head coach. So
is that true?
I believe that is the case. Of course, it's only his fifth year as a head coach anywhere, so it's not like there's been a long sample to go by. But you also, I mean, at SMU there was the marked improvement each year. You can't say that right now, and you're at the point where it has definitely come across like one coordinator and John Chavis, the game has passed him by. And the other coordinator, Joe Craddock, the job might be a little bit big for him. He might not quite be ready for prime time as an SEC offensive coordinator. And being that Chad Morris has had him as, he was a GA working for him. I think he views him in the way that it would be one of the most painful things he's ever done if he had to fire him. But I think you're at the point now where it's not a matter of right now the head coach saving himself by getting rid of a coordinator. The only way that the head coach, I believe, can save himself is to find a way to get this team. Look, it's a given you got to beat Western Kentucky. He's not coaching for his job this Saturday. This Saturday decides whether or not he's the coach on Sunday. It's the 2 games after that. Now, it's LSU, put that in the cupboard and forget about it. This is not Houston Nutt, who can fire up a team to the point where they come out and make some incredible performance for one of the biggest upsets in the history of the sport. And oh, by the way, the team that did that for Houston Nutt is more talented than the team you have right now. Maybe the Missouri game is the game where he's like coaching for his job at Arkansas, but I don't know. There's something about the idea that there are 3 games left. There have been so many stumbles this year and the year before, so many decisions that have been made that have blown up in the team's faces, so many points of national embarrassment. And this is where losing embarrassingly part ways. You can accept losses in tight games. You can accept losses where 1 or 2 plays might make a difference. And maybe some of those plays come down to coaching differences or coaching decisions. When it comes down to every single week now, there's been a different embarrassment of whatever kind, whether it's the most ridiculous fake punt that you've ever seen, or losing to a team that's playing a wide receiver at quarterback and not figuring out that Kentucky's going to run, and then being outscored. And I don't care how high these teams are ranked. Then being outscored 153-41 by three consecutive teams. And, oh, by the way, two of those teams, Auburn and Mississippi State, have had a lot of trouble putting up points against other teams. They didn't have any trouble putting up points against Arkansas or running the ball down their throats. And this deal with C.J. O'Grady from this past weekend, also, when you are kicking your top receiver off the team with 3 games left in the season, yes, it's embarrassing for O'Grady. It's embarrassing for the program. Week after week, this team isn't just losing games, Ty. They're being embarrassed nationally. And when this team is constantly the butt of jokes nationally, that's when decision makers say this has to stop. It can't be like this every single week. And I just have a feeling, I don't know if decisions are made right now. I have a feeling people are leaning towards a certain decision that you'll find out at the end of the month. Unless they lose Saturday, then all bets are off. Then you're going to have an interim coach next week.
Hogfins and Alma text in on the Cherokee Casino hotline. He says, any rumors of the transfer portal for KJ, Burks, or Knox? No, we have not, Hogfins, heard anything about that. But kind of to go off your point, Phil, are you going to see a lot of transfers out the door? And if you do make a decision with the head coach at the end of the year, how many of the players stay at Arkansas and how many go elsewhere, whether they follow Chad Morris or they elect to go to another school and transfer? How many of the players end up leaving the program, whether Morris stays or not? That's an interesting factor that we also need to be paying attention to, because it's not like they have a ton of talent on campus right now. They have a decent crop of freshman talent that they brought in. One of the best defensive players already gone in Devin Bush, and you lost your two your top 3 recruits for this next class. So there's not a whole lot of talent either on campus or coming into campus. So you can't really afford to lose players right now. How much is the impact of what happens in these final 3 games and Chad Morris's decision when it comes to his future, not made by him, but the Board of Trustees and Hunter Yurchek? What's going to happen down the stretch? That's going to impact the players tremendously, Phil.
Well, some notes coming from practice yesterday. Austin Capps was back after missing the last 2 weeks with a concussion, so a chance he does start at left guard. Trey Knox not at practice. He is dealing with the flu, according to the UA Sports Information Department. Wasn't Knox sick before the start of the season? We didn't know if it was flu or whatever it was, but he's been dealing with an illness a couple of times this year, but this apparently is officially the flu. No contact jerseys for Kirby Adcock, who would replace Capps at left guard, and Rakeem Boyd, who's been in a no-contact jersey for pretty much the entire season when it comes to practicing, so that's just more of the same. And Davion Warren out with an ankle injury, a kickoff returner, so Traylon Burks has been listed as the top kickoff returner. I don't know if you saw the article in The Athletic that Kelly Stacy wrote about Rakeem Boyd. Did a really nice job on that. And if you followed our show, you know I'm a fan of The Athletic. It's worth whatever you're paying for it. And I mean, Rakeem Boyd, this is somebody that looks like he could be running on Sundays at some point if he's able to stay healthy. Behind this offensive line and behind last year's offensive line to put up the numbers that he's had, 91 yards a game this season, averaging 5.8 yards a carry, and that's more than a full yard better than the rest of the team is averaging per carry. With the breakaway speed that he's shown, the strength, ability to run behind the pads, boy, if you're Rakeem Boyd, are you leaving for the NFL after this season, come hell or high water? I mean, it's like you look at what you expect to have next year, and I know he's got 1 year left of eligibility, but at this point, you might as well say, hey, you know, I've already shown what I can do behind a patchwork offensive line in the SEC against some of the best defenses in the nation. Why not see if you can do it on Sundays? Because I just wonder if his draft stock would get any better returning for another year.
I don't think he's coming back. I'm kind of with you. I don't know how much he has to gain coming back. He's had injuries concerns throughout his college career, so I don't know how much playing behind this offensive line next year would help him boost his draft stock next year. But I'm not a draft expert or anything. Phil, we got another text in on the Cherokee Casino hotline. This is Randy saying he's contradicting you. He said they won't fire him after this game, but his buyout goes way down December. So his buyout actually goes way down as of January 1st. And it goes from like 11 point something million to 7 point something million. So
well, you're not waiting until January to get rid of a head coach for a bad team. There's no way. Then you're setting yourself back even further as far as recruiting's concerned. Yeah. So I do think they lose this game. If Ty Storey comes in with Western Kentucky and wins in Fayetteville, it's done. It's over. So it won't last another hour. He won't even make it to the post-game interview with Chuck.
You know what this reminds me of? And when Bob, and it's actually coincidentally, we're having Bob on next segment, Bob Holt of Whole Hog, and he told us the story back when Nolan was, I believe, in year 2, and they played Arkansas State in the NIT, and there were rumors that if they lost that game, he was going to get fired. And obviously it's hard to compare Nolan to Chad because Nolan's a Hall of Famer. Nolan's the best basketball coach in Arkansas history, but it's the game that I think so many people believe could determine the future of the head coach. And it's interesting. The dynamic is even heightened more because you have a former quarterback coming into Fayetteville, Phil.
I think that's part of it. I think that the only thing that this game decides is whether or not he's going to be the coach against LSU or whether he's not going to be the coach against LSU. And then we'll see what happens by the end of the month. We get to Bob Holt in just a moment. Don't forget this weekend to check out 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Great place for lunch and dinner. They got a top chef on staff that's got light dinner and lunch items that you won't find anywhere. Chicken pyro, Cubana sandwich, or wings that are jumbo, roasted with honey bacon jam plus salads, flatbreads, and desserts. Coffees for lunch or dinner, all in an atmosphere that feels much less like a lounge and more like a destination. That's 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Sample, indulge, and escape. The Democrat-Gazette sports writer Bob Holt comes after the break on ESPN Arkansas.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
Eagle Crest Golf Course is open, and winter rates are now in effect. Just $35 to enjoy Eagle Crest Golf Course, card included. Winter rates are back, and Eagle Crest is ready for you. Lush zoysia fairways, beautiful bent grass greens, and the best views in the River Valley. Just $35, card included. So get your golf buddies together and head to Eagle Crest Golf Course. Winter rates just $35. Eagle Crest Golf Course, Highway 64, just east of Alma.
Come taste the difference at Reed's Hometown Barbecue in Booneville. Brisket, pork, chicken, and baby back ribs are hand-selected, liberally seasoned with a homemade rub and slow smoked over hickory, oak, and pecan, giving our meat a unique and original smoke flavor. Here's what people are saying. Best barbecue in the state. Awesome atmosphere. Hands down the best barbecue around. Great service. I traveled from Fayetteville and will again. It's that good. Reed's Hometown Barbecue in Booneville. Open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 11 till 9.
It's a November to remember at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Save up to $14,000 off on remaining 2019 GMC Sierra SLTs, featuring the new body style and tons of new features, and now $14,000 off. Or get the new 2019 Buick Encore, the hottest selling Buick in the market, only $18,999. It's a November to remember. Save up to $14,000 off at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
It's getting colder outside. Did you know you could save up to 60% on your heating bill by converting to safe, reliable natural gas from AOG? The savings can actually pay for your conversion cost. So why pay more to heat your home and water? The convenience and abundant supply of American-produced natural gas makes it the right choice. Call AOG or visit AOGC.com and switch to natural gas today. AOG, energy for life.
Want to have more than your average home? D&D Flooring is a simple choice. You can choose to have excellent customer service and design assistance with D&D Flooring. Wood, vinyl, carpet, to beautiful window treatments, professional installation every time. Zero financing options available. Come see D&D Flooring large showroom and selections. D&D Flooring, serving the River Valley and surrounding areas. 1323 Main Street, Van Buren, or call 474-0533.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith reminds motorists that texting can be more than a minor distraction. Text messaging has been linked to serious accidents, including a train crash that killed 25 people and a trolley crash that injured nearly 50 people. In both instances, drivers were texting seconds before the crash. Keep your eyes on the road and stay alive. This message is from Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith, reminding everyone, don't tempt fate, that text can wait.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Here's Jones on a keeper. Out over the 40 to midfield. Matt Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
Let's go to the Cherokee Casino hotline. Our friend Bob Holt from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette standing by. I know he's going to be at a basketball press conference in about an hour. Bob, it's a little more fun to cover basketball right now than football. Would that be an understatement?
Yeah, I think you could say that. I think that was pretty obvious. It was a good crowd on Tuesday night. I know that they announced the paid attendance is over 17,000, and I'm going to guess, just looking at the crowd, I'm going to guess it was 13,000 plus. I really don't know. I might be low or high on that, but it was a good crowd. You could tell they were into it. And, yeah, I think Arkansas fans, they're just eager for something, see something positive, have something to cheer about. And, they're excited about, new coaching staff, new season. And, who knows what's going to happen. Rice obviously been very good, but that was obviously a good start for the Eric Musselman era.
So a simple question for this Saturday's game for Chad Morris's team. I don't think that he is coaching for his job for next year against Western Kentucky, but I most certainly think he could lose the job on Saturday if Ty Storey and the Hilltoppers were to come into Reynolds Razorback Stadium and get a victory. What do you think?
Yeah, I can't. We were talking about this earlier in the week. I can't really imagine a worst-case scenario than to lose, obviously, to Western Kentucky, which, is a solid program, and they've gone to bowl games, but still, it's a Conference USA team, and Arkansas SEC teams are not supposed to lose Conference USA teams. And so that would be another really bad, home loss, on top of San Jose State, North Texas last year. And then to lose to Ty Storey, who, Chad Morris has said that they want him to stay, and I don't doubt that, but still they were bringing in other quarterbacks with the idea of, raising the level of play there, which is totally understandable. They need to raise the level of play, and I don't blame Ty one bit for transferring either. And so, but if your former quarterback, who's an Arkansas native, brings Western Kentucky in and beats Arkansas, that would be, apocalyptic. Am I saying that right? It'd be like the apocalypse or something. It would be really, really bad,
Yeah, I think you would see the dead rise from the grave, and some pretty nasty things would come from that. And it just seems the most shocking part of what's gone down these last 2 years is that the quarterback play has been so abysmal. And it seems to me, Ty Storey might have been more conducive to running the offense even this year than Ben Hicks or Nick Starkel. Maybe we didn't know that coming into the season. But it seems that Chad has just been stubborn, I think is the right word, about the idea of needing a quarterback that, quote, needs to know the offense rather than going with a quarterback who can run and is mobile and maybe run a few guys over here and there.
Well, yeah, I don't pretend to be a coach or X and O or anything like that. But, yeah, of course, Ben Hicks was their guy at SMU. He put up incredible numbers at SMU, like 9,000 passing yards, like 80, 70 something, or 80 touchdown passes. But, of course, that wasn't against SEC teams, and Arkansas has struggled against non-SEC teams, too, as we know. Yeah, I think definitely John Stephen Jones is going to start Saturday, and KJ Jefferson. They seem better equipped, certainly for the run-pass options that have kind of become the rage in college football and was supposed to be a big part of this offense. Nick Starkel, knew he had a big arm, wasn't much of a runner, but I think the feeling was, well, he's such a good passer that that'll be okay, but he obviously struggled with turnovers, a lot of interceptions. Ben Hicks, you don't really know how healthy he is. He took a real beating against Auburn. And, Ty Storey, speaking of taking a beating, that guy took a lot of hits. Very, very tough. Very impressed with how, tough he was last year, how much grit he showed. And he could run the ball, pretty effectively at times. So, yeah, he might have been better off or better able to fit this offense, although I think they felt like, Hicks and Starkel had more talent, a higher ceiling. But, yeah, John Stephen Jones is going to be the sixth different guy to start here, and how many games this is for Chad is 21. And I can't remember a time ever when they've had that many different starting quarterbacks, and not because of injuries. Now, Hicks might have started against Alabama if he was healthy, but I mean, basically they haven't been starting different quarterbacks because they've had a bunch of injuries. They've been starting different quarterbacks, and they just can't seem to find a guy that they can stick with.
Guys, it kind of seems like a revolving door similar to the Browns in the NFL, the Dolphins as well, these last few games, and that's just been so uncustomary for Arkansas football because you went Mallett, Wilson, B.A., Austin Allen, and you thought, I mean, obviously Ryan's head and shoulders above the other guy, and Tyler's kind of closely behind him, and then goes Brandon, then goes Austin, but there was a clear and concise quarterback. And it's been so odd, Bob, because this guy was put out there as a quarterback guru, and that's been anything but the case since he arrived at Arkansas.
Yeah, it's funny, I guess. Well, in the break, I heard radio play of Matt Jones running with a dunk. I think that was the Ole Miss game in 2005, maybe. I remember that distinctly. That was a streaker game, too, if anybody remembers that. But, yeah, I mean, Arkansas's got a history of having some really great quarterbacks. And, getting to know Ben and Nick a little bit, they're good guys to be around. I think they have talent. It's unfortunate it hasn't worked out because when, certainly for Hicks, this is the end of his college career. And with Starkel, he wasn't able to regain the starting job at A&M, and so he came here looking for a new shot and it hadn't worked out. So you feel bad for those guys. But I think fans, I think, were ready to move on, a month ago. Whenever the coaching staff, as Phil said, was maybe a little more stubborn about it. And, maybe I understand why you think the older guys give you a better chance to win, but at this point, you have to play the younger guys, I think. But, yeah, it's been kind of mind-boggling. I really thought when Starkel had the good game against Colorado State, I remember writing something like, he was the fifth guy to start for him. Looks like they finally found a guy they can stick with. So I don't claim to be all-knowing or, in retrospect, that was probably a pretty dumb thing to write, but it's the way I felt at the time, And I remember thinking early in the year, well, how can they not play Starkel? And then later on, like, how can they not play Hicks? And then it got to, how can they not play Jones and Jefferson? So, like Ty said, it's been a revolving door. Not a good thing at any position, but especially at quarterback. And, the players, the other guys always say the right thing, that it's not tough when they're switching quarterbacks and this and that. But I think it's got to be tough just on the team in general because the quarterback's your natural leadership position. Plus, everybody's got to keep getting used to different quarterbacks.
We're speaking with Bob Holt on the Cherokee Casino Hotline about Arkansas football. Bob, with the opening of Modern Gun this weekend and the fact that the team's not any good, 11 a.m. game, Western Kentucky, how many fans do you anticipate showing up Saturday morning?
Man, that's a good question. I've really been impressed with Arkansas fans. I know, we write about how, I guess last week was the lowest, tickets sold announced they've had since the stadium expanded back in 2001. I guess it was 52,000 or something like that. But, in this day and age where the games are all on TV and, tickets are expensive and you got to pay for parking and all the other, you got to fight the crowds. I mean, there still is a crowd. When 50,000 people come, that's still, traffic you have to deal with. And then you add on that the team's struggling to win. That's an understatement. And it's really hadn't been a very good decade for the Razorbacks. So I commend any fan, honestly, who comes out, especially those fans that stuck around and cheered and went crazy when K.J. Jefferson went in. I mean, if you didn't know better, if you just walked in the stadium, you thought Arkansas had just scored a touchdown to go ahead or something instead of being down by 30 or whatever it was at that point. But I commend the fans. I think they have a core that will come out. I think, obviously, having the new quarterbacks, I think, will draw some people. Ty Story might bring the whole town of Charleston. That'll probably help. And we were just talking, it looks like it's going to be a decent day, sunny, maybe high 50s. It's the last game in Fayetteville. I'm not trying to beat the drum for the program, but it's the last home game for a bunch of seniors that have been through a lot. So I would think, I don't know if they're going to announce the tickets sold. I would think the actual crowd will probably be around 40, but that's just a total guess on my part.
Bob, we'll leave it there. Always appreciate your time. I know you're enjoying the Eric Musselman press conferences because that guy can give you some answers. He can get deep in the weeds, too, so I think that's something I'd like to get with you next week when we have you on once again.
Yeah, Eric's a good interview for sure.
He really is. He is. And you are, too. Thanks so much. It's Bob Holt, sports writer extraordinaire from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. If you're a sports writer, Ty, you really want to get answers instead of have your question dodged in so many ways. So there's a real difference between the way that Chad Morris has handled his press conferences and the way that Eric Musselman does, and it ain't just about talking about winning or losing. You know what's a win, though? The weekend's coming up. I know it's inside your refrigerator right now.
Yeah, cold lager, cold filtered, cold package, ice, cold Coors Light. It doesn't get better than this. Whether it's your favorite bar today or your favorite gas station, go pick you up some ice cold Coors Light. It's got the cold activated can, so when you know the mountains are blue, Phil, what do you always do?
You go for two.
You go for two. Coors Light, made to chill.
Cherokee Casino hotline open for you in the next segment, 877-377-6963. We will be right back.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. This is Halftime.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Contact them at 479-997-2366 or at BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. Notice how many times I said cold? 3 times. It's that cold. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Fall is here, and at Frank Bro Furniture in November, now is the time to buy. Come in and take advantage of our many made-in-the-USA products. Lift chairs, we have them. Sectionals, reclining sofas, and loves, we have them. Bedroom furniture and mattresses, we have them. We also carry a variety of appliances and TVs. In November, come in and receive 10% off on any purchase. Ask us about our financing programs. We have several options that will meet your needs. Only at Frank Bro Furniture. Best seats in the house.
Hey, this is Ted with Ed Walker's Drive-In. For more than 70 years, Ed Walker's has been the place to go for the best French dips and hand-patted hamburgers in town. Blue Plate Specials served Monday through Friday, and we're still the home of Fort Smith's only 5-pound hamburger. We're open 10 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. Call ahead for pickup, 783-3352. Ed Walker's Drive-In, 1500 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, where the legend lives on.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your #1 Arkansas fan.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
McFadden, the number 2 rusher in the SEC behind Kenny Irons. Boy, he hits that hole. Upfield he goes. Watch out. McFadden at the 25, 15, 5, touchdown.
We got into this a little bit last week, Ty. Still, we don't know exactly the equation that goes into passing efficiency, which will rate quarterback play. Arkansas's passing efficiency ranks 10th worst in the country right now. Only 3rd worst in the SEC, in front of still Kentucky, who hasn't really had a quarterback for a good chunk of the season, and Vanderbilt, that's had to make a change this year. But Arkansas ranked 120th out of 130 in team passing efficiency. So maybe that changes now with 2 quarterbacks who haven't really played very much, if at all. Now, theoretically, taking the snaps for the rest of the season. John Stephen Jones starting on Saturday, and I still think K.J. Jefferson will get a start sometime in the next couple of weeks. I think you make a good point. Why would he get his first career start against LSU in Death Valley? Maybe it would be against Missouri. But would you say it's safe to say here, Ty, that the 2 quarterbacks who have taken about 98% of the snaps up until this point, Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel, they might not see the field for the rest of the season?
I think that's fair to assume. I think when you look at what's happened so far this season, when you look at what fans have been clamoring for, what you've seen the offense be able to do in small spurts, mind you, but I think the offense has opened up a little bit. And you've mentioned several times on this program Chad Morris being married to the idea of his system, to this offense, to guys that know more, because we know one of the reasons Ben Hicks was elevated to the starter early on is because he had more knowledge of the offense. Well, you're at a point now where the knowledge of the offense hasn't seemed to matter. You really need a guy that can both run and pass at quarterback to make this at least somewhat effective, and that's what you have in both John Stephen Jones and K.J. Jefferson. And I just don't now know how, with Nick Starkel's confidence shot, Ben Hicks really not playing well, and I'm not going to say that John Stephen Jones and K.J. Jefferson are going to 100% wow you down the stretch, because I don't think that's going to be the case. I just don't know how you go back to them at this point, this late in the season, when they haven't shown you really outside of the Colorado State game, and maybe for Ben Hicks the second half of the Texas A&M game, anything worthwhile.
Well, I mean, it's been obvious that the coaching staff from the very start had planned on redshirting K.J. Jefferson, no matter what was going to happen this season. They were going to redshirt K.J. unless he was the last quarterback on the roster. Usually, I believe when you redshirt a freshman, it's because that athlete is not physically ready to compete against older and larger players.
Especially in football, not basketball. We're talking about specifically football.
K.J. Jefferson already is the size that you would want to have. You know what I'm saying? He's not thin. He's not slight. What is he, 18 years old? He looks like a grown man. He's big. He's physical and fast at the same time. The idea of redshirting him must have been that he's not, maybe in the coach's thoughts, not mentally ready or emotionally ready to be a quarterback in the SEC, because physically he can do it. Just look at the small sample. The body type is there to run an offense in a very simple way. Quarterback run, run-pass option. Maybe by the 5th or 6th week of the season, he's starting to feel more comfortable in whatever crazy and elaborate scheme the Chad Morris offense is really about. And, the more that I think about this, the more that I feel that the red shirt of K.J. Jefferson, which had been planned when he was recruited, obviously, doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense. Not when you have seen abysmal, not just bad, abysmal quarterback play from the two more experienced quarterbacks who theoretically were emotionally and mentally ready to run this offense, but it just shows, obviously, I think Hicks physically wasn't ready because he can't make the throws, and Starkel, I think emotionally wasn't ready to handle the first bad performance because, I mean, you look at Starkel's numbers of late, and, I mean, I don't want to beat him down too much, but the last 4 games, he's completing less than 50% of his passes with 3 times as many interceptions as touchdowns, 9-3. And you don't even have to look at Ben Hicks' last couple of games because he's completing less than 50% of his passes for the season. So neither of those, we all thought that they would be ready to play. It turns out they were not the answer at quarterback at Arkansas. So maybe John Stephen Jones and K.J. Jefferson is. Here's Chad Morris on who's going to get most of the playing time.
You try to find a guy that's creating a groove, and obviously we get in there and get things rolling, and you stay with who's moving the football. And but there's also an opportunities to get each one of these guys in. Whichever one has a hot hand, you're able to come in, and they're able to do some multiple things to help you out in some situational stuff.
So, Phil,
hold on 1 minute here. So you're going to let the quarterback who's moving the offense run it for as long as he can, but what does that say about taking John Stephen Jones out after he gets you inside the 20-yard line and then going to Nick Starkel, who promptly throws an interception? So, I mean, he just contradicts himself. And this is one problem that I've had with Chad Morris throughout the season. He contradicts himself over and over again.
Yeah, Phil, I'm wondering, how do you determine when you bring in KJ? Do you bring him in the first drive? Do you bring him in the second drive? What if the offense struggles early on? Do you go to him just the first snap? Like, there's so many different variables that Chad Morris has to think about when playing these two, because when you have the 2-quarterback system, you've heard this phrase before, and it doesn't apply to every single case, but there has been cases before when people say, well, you only have 2 quarterbacks, so you really don't have one, because no guy has clearly put out there enough, or not enough effort, but enough of tape or enough of a performance in a game where he is the clear and concise starter. Now, you saw a little bit from Ty Storey last year, but he struggled in certain games. You could say the same about both Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel, and really a lot of people aren't 100% sold on John Stephen Jones. I think it's more of a ploy to anything to Jerry Jones than him actually earning it so far this season. And I'll give him the fact that he's a mobile quarterback, but I'm just curious to see when Chad Morris and Joe Craddock are juggling these 2 guys on Saturday afternoon, what's going to happen with that dynamic? Is it going to screw up the flow of the offense? Because you got to remember, John Stevens a little shorter than me. He's like 5'9"-ish. KJ is about 6'2", 6'3". That means Tyus Clary's going to have to adjust his snaps, and it might be adjusting mid-drive. It might not be one of those things where he gets a full rest, a full timeout to think about how he needs to adjust his snaps, but all of a sudden KJ might be in, and he snaps it low. There's a fumble. The opposite, John Stephen Jones comes back in. It could be a high snap. That's something you also have to think about as the offensive line adjusts into these guys. They've had to do it all season long. You've seen what's happened with the offensive line. I don't think it's going to get any easier for them on Saturday, except for the fact that they have 2 mobile guys that maybe can avoid sacks they may have given up to Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel.
877-377-6963 to be a part of the show on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Jackson in Harrison says Chad Morris has created his 3rd quarterback battle in less than 2 complete seasons. Why is it so difficult to find the right guy and get behind him? And I think part of it, Jackson, is what I've picked up on these last few weeks now, is that Chad Morris is so married to the idea of his intelligence as an offensive coach and this elaborate scheme. I mean, not to go back to last year too much, but this whole 30% offense installed because it's what the quarterback can understand. At some point, you've got to understand that the coach has to make the adjustment to the players, to the skill set that your players have. It is not the other way around. That's what makes good coaches great sometimes. That's what I see from baseball with Dave Van Horn. And I know it's a different sport, but Dave Van Horn has adjusted the way he manages a lot of games in order to adjust to the players he has, power hitters, rather than punch and Judy guys that he always feels he's got to hit and run with, steal bases and bunt. And look, with this year, if you have a physical specimen like a KJ Jefferson, and you have a running back like Rakeem Boyd, and a good backup like Devwa Whaley, and you got some speedy wide receivers that maybe you can get a screen pass to here and there, you got to find ways to let the most athletic players get the ball and do what they can do. And this is where you get so heated, the thought that the coaching staff and the head coach feels he's so smart and so correct, and that it's worked in so many different places that it has to work here. It's the playbook that wins instead of the athletes. How many times do we say it's the Jimmys and Joes, not the X's and O's? I think that Chad Morris thinks it's the X's and O's.
Clay Henry's told us several times on this program when he was working for the Tulsa World that he thought Barry Switzer was a much better coach than Jimmy Johnson, but what he realized is that Barry had a bunch of better players at Oklahoma than Johnson had at Oklahoma State. And then when he goes to Miami, he realizes that all these players, these incredible stud athletes that were coming in, they made a ginormous impact. And I'll even go up on your example on Dave Van Horn, not just changing by your players, but changing with the times. I think Nick Saban is a perfect example of a guy that wanted to run a slow, methodical, run-heavy offense, and he has completely gone away from that with these different offenses the last couple of years with Tua Tagovailoa and even Jalen Hurts and Blake Sims to some extent. So it's weird how college football shifts, not only in waves of players, but waves of formations and waves of thinking as well. And unfortunately, Arkansas's behind the tide in so many different areas right now.
I got a little ticked off thinking about it. And I think you could tell as I got heated in that last little rant. Coaches are smart. They're very smart. Sometimes they think they're smarter than they really are and believe that they're the reason that things are going in such a good direction. They can be the reason things are going in a bad direction. I think that's what's going on at Arkansas right now, along with a few other things that deal with poor recruiting from the previous staff. All right, we'll get back to it after the break. 877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. Be a part of the show. We'll see you after the break.
Great camping weather is just around the corner, so at Breeden RV in Van Buren, we're having our year-end clearance sale right now. Get great deals on new RVs like travel trailers that start at $99.95 and fifth wheels starting under $30,000. Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives our new customers maintenance for life for free. We also have a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Now is the time to camp, and now is the time to let Breeden RV in Van Buren show you just how easy it can be. Breeden RV, your home for maintenance for life.
Oh, that's an RV.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and B.F. Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative is excited to introduce Wave Rural Connect. They're bringing state-of-the-art high-speed fiber internet plus TV and phone services right into the homes of all members. If you're an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hello, would you like me to find workout classes near you?
There are no stores that sell glasses within 10 miles of your location.
There's enough artificial in the world. That's why Michelob Ultra is brewed with no artificial colors or flavors. With just 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. 2019 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 grams carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0.0 grams fat per 12 ounces.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Occasional showers and a few thunderstorms with us tonight. An overnight low in the upper 30s north. Will be in the low 50s south. Showers with us at least early on Thursday. Our high temperatures low 40s north. Will be in the mid 40s south. And then back to sunshine for Friday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Harry Robinson Buick GMC, where you always get more for your trade. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith. You can shop anytime at harryrobinson.com.
Proceed. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac! Hold on, Matt Ryan! D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown! How about that Heisman, Mark Jones? How do you like it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. I'm getting hungry, Ty. I love this text message thing that we started up here on ESPN Arkansas a couple of months ago. It is the Cherokee Casino hotline, and every once in a while, one of our listeners and usual texters will forget that he is sending a text to us when he thinks he's sending a text to somebody else, like mom or your wife or a coworker. B from I can tell you what B from Clarksville is having for dinner tonight. Chicken pot pie. He texted us the menu in Clarksville. So BE, if I leave right after the show, I got some things I got to do up here in Fayetteville, which includes going to watch women's basketball practice. So what do you say? I don't know if I'll make it for dinner, but can you put some in the refrigerator for me, and I'll heat it up when I come over later tonight?
Are you coming back to Little Rock tonight?
No, I've got a 10:30 basketball game in the morning, man.
Okay,
I got a 10:15 pregame show. I got to wake up early and actually put on some nice clothes and look presentable at Bud Walton Arena for the Screaming Kids.
I forgot that I'm going to be tasked the first hour of the show going solo. A lot of pressure. Friday.
That's right. And when I extend the postgame interview with Mike Neighbors for about 30 minutes, you'll end up doing most of the second hour by yourself, too.
All right. You know what? It's all about learning at a young age, getting better. So I'll be up for the task, Phil. I'll do my best. As give it the old college try is what they used to say.
Third year under Mike Neighbors underway tomorrow, 10:30, Arkansas and the University of New Orleans. Hey, you know, there was a pretty marked improvement in Mike Neighbors' second season, going to 22 wins, a berth in the NIT, the first time that Arkansas women's basketball ever played for the SEC tournament championship. You had a player explode onto the national scene in Chelsea Dungy, and the recruiting just even got better. So there was that noticeable step forward in Mike's second year. I think you'll see another step forward in the third year. So will there be a third year for Chad Morris? Watch Stadium put out a list. So there were 12 first-year head coach hires in Power 5 college football last year. And Chad Morris has the worst record of all of them, and it isn't even close. Now, he's got the worst overall record against FBS teams amongst all these 12 coaches, but also he's got the biggest step down in discrepancy from the victories from the previous coach in the two previous seasons than in the two seasons that Morris has been the coach. Brett Bielema won 9 games against FBS teams in his last 2 years. And as of right now, Chad Morris has beaten 2, and none of them have been Power 5 wins. What have those wins been? They've been against Tulsa and against Colorado State, and that's it. That's it. Otherwise, Willie Taggart also has won 5 fewer games than Jimbo Fisher did in his last 2 years. So, I mean, right here in front of you have hard, cold evidence in form of wins that right now Chad Morris is having the poorest performance of any of the 12 second-year coaches in a Power 5 conference.
You look at some of the other names on this list, Phil. Mario Cristobal at Oregon's done a tremendous job there in year number 2. They still have a shot to go to the college football playoff if they can get to the Pac-12 championship and beat probably Utah, which will be on the other side of that. I think I have the divisions lined up there. Dan Mullen, they've been pretty good at Florida. Now, I know that a lot of Gator fans wish they would have gotten it done against the Bulldogs on Saturday, but I think most people would agree that he's a better coach than Jim McElwain was.
You know, back to Oregon for a quick moment. If they're going to play for the Pac-12 championship, they're going to have to get past Oregon State, which they've usually had no trouble doing, but it'll be a lot tougher, I think, this time around, because Jonathan Smith is also a third-year head coach, former quarterback at Oregon State, and they did not have a power or even an FBS win last year. But this year, now they've got victories in 3 of their last 4 against Pac-12 schools. So Smith has engineered what looks like a turnaround at a program that might have actually been in worse shape than Arkansas was when he took over. So Smith is doing a better job. Jimbo Fisher, albeit with a pretty low bar set by Kevin Sumlin, also has 2 more Power 5 wins or 2 more FBS wins than Sumlin did in his last 2 years. I mean, the list goes on and on. Even Kevin Sumlin is performing better than Chad Morris is in the 2 years that he's been at Arizona.
And I think people in Aggieland are really frustrated because while that is the case that he's done better lately than Kevin Sumlin's last 2 years, the guy's got a 10-year, $75 million contract with 0 buyout if he was to leave elsewhere. And people expect, we know about the plaque that has not had the date listed on it for his eventual national championship that he's supposed to bring to the school. But, Phil, they're about to finish 7-5 this season. That's inevitable. They're not beating LSU this year. They've lost to, Clemson, Auburn, and who's the other school I'm not thinking of that they lost to? They've lost to someone else. So they're going to finish the year 7-5. And I think a lot of Texas A&M fans are very frustrated because they're paying this guy all this money that was supposed to bring them a national championship in year number 2. It doesn't look close. And I know they had a tough schedule this year, but they got to be frustrated. But I'm looking at this list. I know Arkansas fans are really ticked off about what's happened in Chad Morris era, but I think, Phil, that Florida State Seminole fans have just a little bigger gripe than Arkansas fans do based on their bowl tradition, based on their tradition to school, which is better than Arkansas with the recent national championship, the Bobby Bowden years, which were consistent. I think they have a little more gripe than Arkansas, but there's some coaches on these lists, including Joe Moorhead, that are in hot water.
And you wonder if Scott Frost is really in hot water because Nebraska continues to sell out that stadium. And, I mean, it's going to be different with a guy like Scott Frost. It's much in the same vein as Jonathan Smith at Oregon State. I mean, they were 2, on different levels, legendary quarterbacks at each of those universities. So if you're a former player from those schools, you're given a longer leash.
Correct.
And the other thing, too, is Frost has been public taking on some of the players that he hasn't thought are given the right effort or don't measure up to Nebraska standards. He's called them out publicly, and actually what's going on there at Nebraska has been a pretty ugly back and forth that's played out in the media. You know, Chad Morris hasn't done that. He continues to present. He does. I mean, it's like sunshine and candy with every press conference, with the exception of the post-gamers where everything is unacceptable. But on Monday, I mean, it all seems everything's okay. Nothing to see here. We're not winning games, but we're getting better, and we're excited.
Well, you've taken an issue with how Chad Morris has responded several different times this season and last season as well. But I come from the perspective of they're losing, so it really doesn't matter what they say. He's going to get criticized regardless. Whatever he says in the pregame, pre-week, post-game press conference, he's going to get absolutely drilled. And
well, I think the problem right now is people feel like he's just blowing smoke up your butt, and nobody appreciates that.
And that's fair, but I know it wasn't the same way, but you saw some antics from John L. Smith, and obviously a lot different with the way he spoke to the media and others. That's a part of college sports, Phil. Even if most coaches, most colleges, most franchises know the best way to handle things is in-house. It's not to go public with someone to do it that's doing something wrong, or certain players, certain coach. They know most of the time they handle it in-house. Now, fans and media don't necessarily like that, but the success of whether it's the San Antonio Spurs, the New England Patriots, and I can go on and on and on, some of the more successful, and Alabama's a perfect example, they handle their stuff in-house. But it's only amplified here in Arkansas right now because the team is losing. That's why. That's why you're blasting Chad. I'm not speaking to you, but I'm speaking to everyone listening to the program right now. Every time Chad Morris lets a word out of his mouth in a post or pregame press conference, people just eviscerate him because they're losing. Now,
I think they're tuning him out. I think by now, anything that he says into a microphone is taken with a shaker full of salt. I would not be listening to what he is saying unless I absolutely have to. And to do this show, we do have to listen to what he says. But I don't think that I would say you look for your little nuggets of truth here and there. There's so few nuggets of truth that come from him during his media availabilities that they're not worth anything other than just you got to go out and say and speak into a microphone, Chad, so you're forced to do it.
Let me give you one bombshell real quick. Bobby Petrino was asked if he was alone on the motorcycle by the media directly. He said yes. But does that get brought? No, it doesn't because he won football games. I'll leave you there, Phil.
You went with a good conspiracy theory, Ty. I've heard this one, and there might be some truth to it. There is truth that there's great deals right now at the year-end clearance sale at Breeden RV and Power Sports in Van Buren. Travel trailers at $99.95, fifth wheels under $30,000, and all new customers at Breeden get maintenance for life for free. Breeden RV in Van Buren, BreedenRVs.com for more information. Come back after the break. There's other things going on around college sports, so stay tuned.
Listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio. This is the Morning Rush.
The lines are getting ridiculous in the bathroom. And, people who don't want to spend money on water, they go in and refill their cups inside of the sink. And it's tap water.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help out the people out there.
I'm not refilling my water bottle in the bathroom sink at the stadium. I'm sorry. No.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Back again with our good friends at World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. Your last weekend to get the $200 Visa gift card when you make the move to DISH for this weekend, and you get a 2-year price guarantee.
Yeah, call WOW now, 877-305-DISH. Make the move to DISH. New activation. This is the last weekend to take advantage of the $200 Visa gift card offer from World of Wireless and the $99 tailgater with new activation.
Plus, you get whole home DVR, HD in every room, local installation, and it can all be done before this weekend's up.
That's right, local and free installation. And remember, you can take advantage of the $99, less than $100 for the portable tailgater that you can use anywhere. Take it to Deer Camp this weekend.
All right, call WOW now, 877-305-DISH. Get all these free extras Ben is telling you about, but the offer ends before the weekend's up, so you need to call WOW now. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for World of Wireless, your local DISH dealer.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney in Family Dentistry. They take care of it all: crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and B.F. Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
You've worked hard your whole life anticipating the day you could finally retire. If that day is near, there are 5 things you need to do. Spend wisely, understand your retirement plan distribution options, plan for your required minimum distributions, know your Social Security options, and consider phasing. Call Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors to discuss these steps in detail at 242-7466 or through our website at ufadvisors.net.
Securities and advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Miss Anna's on Towson is quickly becoming one of Fort Smith's favorite haunts. We're now serving breakfast from 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Blue Plate specials served Monday through Friday, And don't forget about 99-cent Pie Tuesday. So whether you're craving some of our great kickin' chicken or one of our world-famous desserts, Miss Anna's is the place to be. 5001 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, 649-6300. That's 649-6300.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
That's Hammonds. Has the edge, has the 50. Hammonds down the sideline. Inside the 20. He'll take it. Touchdown, Razorbacks. Hammonds breaks it. A 64-yard TD.
877-377-6963. Be a part of the show on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. JT in Hot Springs texts in. Says, for the last 4 weeks, I'll just roll my eyes every time he hears Chad Morris talking and think, why are you talking? All he does is paint himself in a corner more and more. It leads him to wonder, why hasn't he been fired yet? Or why has he not fired Joe Craddock and John Chavis? Well, he hasn't fired him because he's never fired anybody. I don't think that's in Chad's DNA. And painting himself in a corner, he's done that from the very start with all of the slogans that talk about this being the most explosive offense in college football the day that he was hired. I understand you're going to promote the things that you expect out of your program, but when those things do not come to fruition, those things don't go away, and they get remembered, and they get remembered in a very negative way.
Yeah, this would be there. I mean, there would be people broadcasting right now, people excited if this did happen to be one of the best offenses in the country, like it was at one point in Clemson. But like you're saying, it's become the opposite of that, where it's one of the more boring, lack of moving. Like they just can't seem to get anything consistent. Maybe a QB change will change that. Maybe we'll see a little spark. I know it's Western Kentucky, but maybe you'll see a little spark on Saturday. But I don't know about you, Phil. I've seen the clip of him talking to Brett Dolan on the plane over and over and over again because people are making fun of it, making a satire out of it, the fact that the offense has been anything but since arriving. And I'm still waiting. We got 3 games left. You're probably not going to do it in Baton Rouge. Maybe you can do it against Western Kentucky. I know that people wouldn't hold that to the highest standard. Maybe it can happen against Missouri and Little Rock. Just waiting for this offense to go off one game. Just one game. And
well, you felt like they went off for maybe like a quarter against Colorado State, but that's it. It's just been one quarter.
And I think,
first quarter of that game too.
And I know most of the people listening right now would love it for KJ Jefferson to be the guy that sparks the energy and just from snap one just explodes. But obviously he's not getting the start against Western Kentucky. We'll see how many snaps that he's going to get in because Chad has told the media before that, hey, we're going to try and work this guy in. We're going to try and work this guy in. It doesn't end up happening, but I'm just wondering, Phil, when, if ever, is that going to happen? Or is Chad Morris's tenure going to be Arkansas? It's going to be 2 years, a year and 9 games, or whatever it may be, 3 years, without a single offensive explosion against a quality team, which would just be wild to think about. Like, if you went to bet Vegas odds before Chad Morris was hired, like, or right as he was hired, how many games will this offense go off for 500 yards, 40-something points, or 50-something points? I think a lot more people would take the over just based on the fact that you look at what he did at the other places. And I'm not talking about the win-losses, y'all. I'm talking about what he was supposed to do at Arkansas, bring back some of the Bobby Petrino-type passing attacks, running attacks, and that simply hasn't been the case.
Just put the best athlete on the field. Just please put the best athlete on the field. It's sports. It's played by athletes, not played by robots. Other news. Hey, this. So Moses Moody makes his announcement on Saturday, right, at in Little Rock.
Some gym. I can't think of what it's called.
Yeah, Arkansas Athletics, something like that. I know it's down by the junior deputy baseball fields over by the river. You wonder, and what is his final three? Arkansas, Virginia, Michigan. Well, Juwan Howard, first-year coach at Michigan, part of the Fab Five, longtime NBA player. He's got some learning to do when it comes to rules about things that you can and can't say dealing with recruiting. You know, and I didn't even realize this until I started covering college sports on a heavy basis, that head coaches and coaches overall are not allowed to refer to these recruits' names publicly, and they never do. And that's because it's against NCAA rules. Did somebody forget to tell Juwan Howard that? Because at a press conference yesterday, he revealed 3 different recruits' names before he got cut off by a Michigan spokesperson. This is a quote. He was asked about recruiting, and Juwan Howard said, quote, "It's been good. We're still grinding, plugging away. There's some guys out there who we've offered and we're in the running for. Hunter Dickinson is one. Moses Moody is the other. Nimari Burnett would be a third," that he also said. He did realize that he'd made a big mistake, and then he goes on to say, well, that's one of the NCAA rules I have to really get to understand. I'm learning throughout this process. It's a part of the college coaching that's different from the NBA coaching, but no excuses. I'll learn these rules. You know, by the way, good luck learning all of the rules in the NCAA rule book. As far as this is, that's why they have compliance departments. Yeah. I mean, these compliance departments. My brother-in-law dealt with compliance until he moved up in the ranks. His specialty is compliance. You ever seen the books, the rule books? I mean, they are thicker than the thickest white pages that ever came out years ago. If you've ever seen a white pages, Ty, they used to be pretty thick, especially in the big cities. He violated bylaw 13.10.2.1. So when you've got 4 decimals on there, good luck figuring out which rule you just violated.
So maybe that inches Moses closer to picking Arkansas. And I found this funny that Virginia beat Syracuse, I believe, 48-34 the other night. And I don't know how much negative recruiting Eric Musselman is doing, trying to get Moses Moody and landing him at Arkansas. But if I'm Eric Musselman, I'm showing the game film and showing the final score of what Arkansas was able to do against Rice and compare that to Virginia and how many times, not just last season, but in Tony Bennett's career, that they've just been low-scoring defensive battle affairs. And listen, he's a tremendous coach. There's a reason they won a national championship. He seems to be about the most upstanding guy in college basketball. But I think that the fast pace, the flash, the pizzazz that Arkansas showed in that first game and that Eric Musselman's teams have showed in years past, if I'm Eric Musselman and his staff, I'm using all I can to get Moses Moody end up at Arkansas.
What was that final score, Virginia, Syracuse?
Well, I think it was 48-34, if I remember that correctly.
Crazy.
So
that was like the halftime score of Mike Anderson's debut at St. John's. They scored 61 points in the first half, and went on for. I'm trying to find the final score. I know they scored like 110 points, 109-79 as St. John's beat Mercer. How many times? So that's what? That's 188 points total. That would be like 5 games worth for Virginia, with as good as they are defensively. But that also makes college basketball unwatchable sometimes. You don't want to watch a game with everybody scoring 50.
I just checked.
A race to 50 is never fun to watch. I don't care how much you enjoy watching defense. We're here to watch points get scored.
Yeah, I thought it was so. I was in Oklahoma City last year when Virginia and Purdue were playing, I believe, in the Elite 8 game, and I'm sitting next to 2 of my buddies, Evan and Callaway, and I'm like, guys, this is going to be like a 38-39 final 40, and it ended up being a really good game where you have you have a young freshman who I'm forgetting, I can't think of his name. He's a young freshman point guard last year, and now he's a sophomore this year. He's going to be one of the better point guards in the country. He passes it to Diakite, and Diakite puts it in. They go to overtime, and it ends up being a high-scoring game with Carson Edwards doing what he did for Purdue. But it's one of those things. I just think style matters a lot. I mean, style is what got Stan Heath fired. And went to 2 straight NCAA tournaments. It got him fired. And I know it's not the end-all, be-all. Like, if you're winning football games and it's ugly sometimes and you can kind of get away with it, but I think basketball-wise, you got to use it as a positive tool as recruiting. And you hope Muss is doing that. It seems like he's done a pretty good job of it with getting Devontae to commit and getting these other 4 guys at least very interested in the Arkansas basketball program.
Scott texted in on the Cherokee Casino hotline with a question. And it's more not a question. He says, and I wonder if this is true, if a coach mentions a player's name that he's recruiting, are they allowed to still recruit that player? Which, then you've taken the decision for Moses Moody down to 2, which I guess conceivably would make it easier. And the way that he's pumping this up and saying, he's inviting everybody to come in for the gym for this announcement. He is either setting up Arkansas basketball fans for supreme disappointment and maybe having some tomatoes thrown, which I would not advocate for, or he's setting it up to get people hyped about attending Arkansas, which is with the direction I think he's leaning in.
Well, you got to remember, KJ Hill committed to Arkansas at the Arkansas Hall of Fame, ended up going to Ohio State. We've heard the Zach Smith story concerning the recruiting snafu with Brett Bielema calling them up there saying that KJ was not going to take the visit. I remember when I was in high school, Michael Dyer committed to Auburn. He did it in the gymnasium, and he even made a joke, I'm going to Ark, and then he'd go Auburn. He was just joking with people. But I think you want your friends and family there regardless of what school you go to, and I think there's going to be a lot of Arkansas fans obviously ticked off if Moses doesn't decide to be a Razorback. But you got to remember, you got to do what's best for this kid, what he thinks is best for him, what his family thinks is best for him, and what he thinks is best for them. And if that's not Arkansas, then I don't necessarily have a problem with him going to another school. But the key word is but. Don't exactly come back after, let's say, a college career, NBA career, and expect everyone to just be with open arms and stuff. That's kind of where I draw the line. It's because you decided to go to another school. Just don't expect the same treatment that if you were a hometown kid and decided to go to Arkansas and then stayed in Arkansas. There's a completely different level, I think, there. I just don't have a problem with a kid choosing to elect to go somewhere else.
Later on today, I'm attending Arkansas women's basketball practice. I'm going to go to dinner with Mike Neighbors for the first of a few times this year. You know what I'm going to do when I sit across from Nabes at dinner? I'm going to order myself an ice cold Coors Light.
Smart.
I don't know what he's going to order, but I know what I'm ordering.
Smart man, yeah. I know. I need to go drinking with you and Neighbors sometimes. That needs to happen. I don't know if it ever will, but when it does, we'll drink some ice cold Coors Light wherever we're at, regardless if we're in Fayetteville, Fort Smith, out of state, or whatever. We will have the world's most refreshing beer. And Phil, what are we going to do? Are we going to go for 1, 2, 3?
I shoot a 2.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably the smart thing. Coors Light, made to chill.
Halftime continues after the break. Don't go anywhere.
When in doubt, expense it. You're listening to Halftime.
We did it again. Evans Body Shop has been voted the best independent collision repair shop in the River Valley for the second year in a row. None of it would have been possible without our top-notch crew and our customers, friends, and family that take their time to vote for us. We would like to say thank you. We are humbled by the continued loyalty and support from our community and staff and will continue to go above and beyond every day. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren. Come by today and see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
It's getting colder outside. Did you know you could save up to 60% on your heating bill by converting to safe, reliable natural gas from AOG? The savings can actually pay for your conversion cost. So why pay more to heat your home and water? The convenience and abundant supply of American-produced natural gas makes it the right choice. Call AOG or visit AOGC.com and switch to natural gas today. AOG, energy for life.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
We can all use extra table space for holiday dinners. Stop at a Metters Lumber True Value for the 6-foot deluxe folding table at just $34.99. It's lightweight and easy to carry. It folds in half for easy storage and has a top that won't chip, peel, or stain. For extra seating, pick up one or more all-steel folding chairs too. Just $13.99 each. Head over to Metters Lumber True Value for these bargains of the month and other great deals while supplies last.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
It's football season and the right play is at Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard. Their business is quality used cars at a great price with their #1 goal of passing the savings on to you. The latest makes and models, low mileage vehicles with an overall experience that can't be matched. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard today and find that there's no better way to buy your next vehicle. Call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com. Hertz Car Sales. What are you waiting for?
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your evening on the Avenue. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Well, the Bulldogs will kick it short, but they get it to McFadden back around the 7. He comes up to the 20, and he's off to the races. We were just talking about it. McFadden and Jones, they are mighty good, and McFadden shows it there. From the 7-yard line to the end zone, 93 yards for Darren McFadden. My goodness, they answer in a hurry.
877-377-6963, our Cherokee Casino hotline to be part of Halftime. Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. And another 30 minutes left in the show, so you can give us your thoughts.
Big
Arkansas
segment coming up, buddy.
Arkansas basketball, because the next segment, we do not take your calls because it's halftime homework. Ty, you did a little extra credit. I'm proud of you, man, because you decided to watch a movie that I wanted to assign you a long time back. Don't let the cat out of the bag. Or don't let the puck out of your hockey equipment bag either, because I want to get to that in the next segment. You didn't watch a soccer movie though, and maybe it's kickoff in about an hour. Arkansas women's soccer in the SEC semis plays against the Florida Gators, a team they did not match up against during the regular season. This after the Hogs won their opener in the SEC tournament in the quarters on Tuesday with a 1-0 shutout over Ole Miss. So SEC Coach of the Year Colby Hale looking to make it to, I believe that would be a third straight berth in the SEC tournament championship game if they find a way around the Gators. And again, that's in Orange Beach, Alabama. Kickoff in about an hour, and I'm assuming, because the SEC Network televises this kind of stuff, that it will be viewable for your eyes on the SEC Network. All right. Elsewhere, so we've got some texts coming in here, 877-377-6963, Cherokee Casino Hotline. Scott in Fort Smith is not an Arkansas fan, but he is in the patience camp for Arkansas football. He says the guy, I'm assuming he means Chad Morris, hasn't even been here for 2 years. Now, I mean, there's Morris and the rest of the coaching staff hasn't been there for more than 2 years, except maybe Barry Lunny Jr. He says Arkansas isn't Clemson. Clemson wasn't Clemson until it was built, and then says coming from a non-Arky fan. So, I mean, if you are an Arkansas fan, Scott, then what kind of pie do you like? Ty, what's your favorite sort of pie? If you could pick one, not a pizza pie, if you were to pick one sort of dessert pie, which one would it be? And be sure about this. Be very sure about this. Because this is the pie that you get to eat off of your face. Because how much pie do you want on your face as an Arkansas football fan right now? This is the issue. You can talk about a coach and a coaching staff needing time and patience to get his players in place to run the sort of team that he wants to run. But how much pie in the face does it take to get there? Ooh. How many weeks does Arkansas have to be a national embarrassment? How many 41-point losses to a team in Auburn that doesn't get into the end zone on a routine basis does it take? How many special teams blow-ups does it take? how many wrong choices at quarterback does it take? You get what I'm getting at here, Ty. Pick a flavor of pie you like, because if he's back for a third season, chances are you're licking that pie off your face for another full season.
I think peanut butter chocolate pie or chocolate peanut butter pie, depending on how you put it on it. I think Miss Laura made a pretty Miss Laura Kraft made a pretty good pie, chocolate peanut butter pie, if I remember correctly, a couple months back that we absolutely destroyed. So I was thinking about that. I was going between apple, chocolate, but yeah, chocolate peanut butter is just absolutely phenomenal. So is there a food of any kind that you could eat consistently every day for a year?
I could eat Mexican food every single
day.
I don't care what it is. It could be a Mexican food of your choice, and I'd be fine with it. So, what sort of a Mexican style is there? A Mexican style dessert pie? Flan? That's not a pie, nor is it really Mexican. I guess it's more Spanish. That's my point. You know, there's a difference between losing and consistently being embarrassed, which occurred last year, even on a lesser basis than this year, in which the embarrassments have come week after week after week. And it really, you could even say that the embarrassments started with the ridiculous club dub celebration after beating a bad Colorado State team because of a good fourth quarter. You know, and I was all okay with it at first, but then you could see the way that it pumped up the egos of the players to where they didn't take San Jose State seriously. I think part of that goes back to club dubs. So the embarrassment started there, week after week, another embarrassment. And that's the thing. Losing is one thing, and that doesn't always reflect in a totally negative way upon your employers or your university. A loss sometimes shows that you're just that close, that you are close. But if you consistently get embarrassed week after week, egg on the face, pie on the face, that's where all bets are off, and that's where you are right now with Arkansas football. Go to the Cherokee Casino hotline. Craig is in Deer. What's up, Craig? You're on halftime.
Yeah, okay, have a good day.
Craig,
we're going to have to ask you to find a better location for your cell phone signal because we couldn't hear anything you just said. We'll give you a few moments, and then we'll get you back on the air. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. B.E. from Clarksville reminds me that sopapillas B.E. are not a Mexican pie. They're a really good dessert, though. You like sopapillas, Ty? Sugary, cinnamony, some honey spread all over?
One of our sales members here at ESPN Arkansas is a big-time sopapilla fans, and apparently they have pretty good ones at La Huerta as well.
I know. La Huerta's has some really good street tacos that we had the other day. By the way, what's your taco count for today? Because yesterday you had 7 on Tuesday. You had 4 yesterday. What about today?
I had 8 on Tuesday. Come on, buddy.
8. I don't want to shortchange you the extra taco.
So I had 4 yesterday morning before 9 o'clock and 4 this morning before 9 o'clock. So there's still a ton in there. So I feel my dad always told me to eat the leftovers in the fridge. So I'm just doing my part here at ESPN Arkansas by eating all the leftovers that we got in the fridge.
That is good due diligence. Well, it looks like Craig did not find a good location for his cell phone signal, so unfortunately we had to do without his call. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. So, Ty, you can look. If we just did a bad radio show day after day, that'd be one thing. That would reflect upon our employer in a way that we wouldn't want. But you still have sponsors. You still have callers. Some would already say you're right. Some would already say we do, but yet they might still be listening to see if this show ever gets any better. But if we got out there and just started spewing moronic idiocy, dropping F-bombs here and there in a way that costs our employers money and embarrasses them on a statewide scale, we'd be done. We would be absolutely done. Wouldn't get a second year. We're in the same boat as Chad Morris. We started our show the week after his first game as the head coach at Arkansas. So we're in the same boat, aren't we?
In a similar, and I get what you're saying, yeah, but the one of the biggest factors in the difference is the money that's at stake. That's what would you say the main overlying factor is?
Are you telling me that the budget at ESPN Arkansas doesn't measure up to the athletic budget at Arkansas?
Just might be a little bit of a difference, and I think We've talked about this on the program. We've had several people calling on the Cherokee Casino hotline that just say fire, 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 Chad. It's not, again, it's not as easy as that. I feel like I'm having to be I have made my what's the, I can't think of the word.
Let me just say before you call yourself the voice of reason, you can't be the voice of reason if you are the conspiracy theorist on the show.
That's fair.
Those two things don't go together, unfortunately.
They don't jive together. But it's not as simple as that. With the money involved, with the Razorback Foundation, with the stuff dealing with Brett Bielema's buyout, with the potential buyout that you'd have to be paying for the next head coach. By the way, I actually saw this for all the Mike Norvell fans out there, the big fans that want him to be the next coach of Arkansas. I think Bruce Feldman of Fox, I don't think Bruce is with Fox, he's with The Athletic now. He put out today that his buyout's only $500,000.
Yes.
Which is not bad at all.
Not bad. That's like nothing compared to what we've seen in some of these head coaches' buyout contracts.
So, no, but I'm talking about the buyout that coaches or another school would have to pay Memphis if he were to go to another school, not if he was fired. So that terms of buyout, because the buyout for coaches is obviously a lot more with Taggart's being $18 million, but I just thought that was interesting. But there's just a lot of variables that fans have to think about, that it's not just as easy as that. And again,
it isn't. And this gets back tied to what I think we came up with a couple of days ago, and it just feels like you're screwed either way. You either stick with a coach that you really don't want to stick with because financially maybe you don't have another choice, or you cut ties. Maybe this hurts recruiting. You got to pay more of a buyout. You got to go out in a tough job market, find another head coach. Ty, it just feels. I think this is why the anger is so heavy. People feel like they are totally screwed with this football program, not just between a rock and a hard place, but between the end of the world and a wall that is pushing you to the edge. Oh boy. Well, that's the last bad stuff we have to talk about. We got some fun coming up. Halftime homework to close up the show with a cherry on the top. It's halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Make-A-Wake Boat Sales and Service is not only where you can get your next Yamaha or Skeeter boat, they also carry a huge selection of bait and tackle. Find whatever floats your boat at Make-A-Wake Bait and Tackle. They carry tons of top brand lines of rods and reels and everything you need to gear up your tackle box, from Strike King, Kitech, and Zoom to Sunline and War Eagle products. Make finding your next Yamaha or Skeeter boat an easy catch with Make-A-Wake Boat Sales and Service in Van Buren, 4806 Alma Highway in Van Buren, and MakeAWakeBoats.com.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Want to have more than your average home? D&D Flooring is a simple choice. You can choose to have excellent customer service and design assistance with D&D Flooring. Wood, vinyl, carpet, to beautiful window treatments, professional installation every time. 0 financing options available. Come see D&D Flooring large showroom and selections. D&D Flooring, serving the River Valley and surrounding areas. 1323 Main Street, Van Buren, or call 474-0533.
Barley is the soul of Budweiser. That's why we've been working with the same family-owned American farms for more than 50 years to harvest it. The secrets to growing this grain perfectly have been passed down through 3 generations. For them, it's a legacy. And it's why only the best barley and locally sourced ingredients are used to make Budweiser. Budweiser is proudly raised across America. This Bud's from our barley farmers. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Make a hot spring spa part of your day-to-day routine now and discover what it means to get more out of each day. Hi, Tommy Kraft for our good friends at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale. Burton's is having an instant rebate event where you get $1,000 in instant rebate with the purchase of select hot springs models. Burton Pools and Spas is at 6121 Zero Street in Fort Smith and 725 South 48th Street in Springdale. Just imagine being able to come home from a hard day at work and to slip into your own hot spring spa from Burton Pools and Spas and let the stress of everyday life just slip away. And you're going to be totally impressed with all the features and options that are available on a hot spring spa. See it for yourself in Fort Smith or in Springdale and find out more about how you can get a $1,000 instant rebate with a purchase of a select hot spring spa today. That's Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale, or find out more online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Arkansas on the ground. It's Hammond. Oh, Hammond's breaking free. It's going to be a foot race. One man to beat. Touchdown, Arkansas. 88 yards.
You know, Ty, if I was going to have one pie that I could have thrown at me and I could eat off my face, it would just be the simple whipped cream pie, you know, like from Revenge of the Nerds. That's the one I want to eat off my face if you're stuck with Chad Morris for a third year.
What part is okay? So it's been a minute since it was a couple months ago. What part of the movie was that in?
It was in the fair. It's the Greek fair.
Okay.
The pie selling contest. Who could sell more pies? And they had the naked picture of Betty at the bottom of all of the whipped cream pies. It's just whipped cream, but then you get to the bottom of it, and there's Betty in all her glory, and that's why. I'm forgetting the name of the nerds fraternity. That's why they won the pie selling contest. So that's the one I want. I don't need the picture of Betty at the bottom of this one. I just want the whipped cream on my face.
Okay, you remember in Animal House where Dean Wormer's wife and Otter are there at the market, and she's like, "People are sensuous. People are what's is the one? What are people? Are people sensuous?
People are sensuous. Vegetables are sensual."
Okay, so speaking of
as she's holding a cucumber.
All right, speaking of sensuous whipped cream, since we're on the subject. Phil did not know I'm trying to gather my thoughts. A Varsity Blue reference about Jonathan Moxon before we walked into the show.
Oh, speaking of whipped cream, of course.
Yeah, it's one of the best whipped cream scenes of all time for those who see that movie. So.
Red reminds me that
oh, man.
Lambda is the nerds fraternity. Thanks for the update on that.
That was a great movie, by the way. That you assigned me.
It is a good one. I've got a movie that I'm kind of kicking around. What do I want to assign you? Because I've got a movie or I've got music that I want to assign you for Thursday's halftime homework.
I don't trust this kid any further than I could throw him.
I got a question. Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Get out of my class.
Out! Get out!
I was still thinking of going back to school. It's just a movie from the 80s.
I am dangerous.
It's time for halftime homework, presented by Breeden RV and Power Sports.
I promise you, Ty, I'm just going to assign you one thing. I know I was giving you like 4 or 5 different assignments, some extra credit here and there. I'm going to keep it to one, but I'll give you a choice. But first, I want you to tell me what you thought of your homework in which you did some extra credit. Hey, don't tell me I can't assign you 2 things. You watched 2 movies. I didn't tell you to watch Slapshot. You went ahead and did it yourself. That's when I was going to assign.
Well, so I had a little extra time these last couple days. I've been getting my work and stuff done early, so I thought to myself, I'm going to watch The Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland and as Alan Patrick. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Jason Patrick.
And a couple other Jamie
Corey
Gertz.
Haim, Corey Feldman.
Don't forget Jamie Gertz. And
we can't forget Jamie Gertz, Diane Wiest. you know, the Corey Feldman, Corey Haim angle on it, just for anybody of my age, almost automatically makes that movie a classic, just because of the dynamic between those two.
So one of our loyal listeners here on Halftime, Mike, who lives in Fort Smith, his profile picture on Twitter is of the Lost Boys, and I had never heard of it until you mentioned it this past week. And so I think it was Tuesday. Night when I texted you and I just started watching. And it was funny because all I do when I watch like old movies or homework assignment from Phil, I'll just put the picture out on Twitter. And every one of the responses, it seemed like when it put it out, they say, man, I half expected Chad Morris and the coaching staff to be pasted inside of this poster, which I thought was kind of funny and kind of funny from our listeners. So I watched it, thought it was good. I've always found it kind of interesting. In every single vampire TV show or movie, there's different rules for what hurts and kills a vampire. And so
the one that I remember learning from the Lost Boys is that to invite a vampire into your dwelling means that garlic doesn't work and holy water doesn't work. If you invite them in, then all bets are off as far as how to kill them, unless I guess it's a stake through the heart, which always works.
Yeah, they're pretty powerless, and it was just I've always wanted to fly. So anytime there's a movie incorporating flying of any sort, I think it's kind of cool. But I thought it was a good movie, and it's interesting. So I think comics were kind of popular when I was younger. I didn't really read comics. I was more watching comic TV shows. But I just know back in like the 80s and 90s how widely popular comics like they were. And that's just not the case anymore, I don't think.
So some of the things that stood out for me about The Lost Boys, and I watched that movie when it came out at the age of 8.
Did you?
I love that movie. Watched it with my dad, and it was, you know, I love the gory aspects of it. Keep in mind, I also loved watching Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead and The Exorcist, so gore in movies at that age didn't really bother me very much. But it's some really interesting deaths in that movie, especially for the vampires in the final scene. Some really good stuff, and a great final one of the last lines from the movie, and not to ruin it for everybody, but you know, a bunch of teenage vampires, and the top vampire wanted to get the lady's kids together with the vampires that he had created, and they say, "Oh God, a blood-sucking Brady Bunch." We always love that line. So I'm glad you watched the Lost Boys. Though to be honest, I wish you would have chosen The Exorcist. Though I know you weren't going to. I would have liked if you chose Little Shop of Horrors, just because I think it would be fun to assign you a musical.
Is it my version's High School Musical is the best way you can define the Little Shop of Horrors?
Absolutely not. No, this is not. It's better than High School Musical. Okay. Much better.
Well, a lot of things are better than High School
Musical. It's a dark comedy with some really great music.
Okay.
All right, so then the other one you watch is Slapshot, which for me, man, that is one of the greatest sports movies ever made. I think it's in the top 5.
Yeah, so I'm going through my list, and again, for those listening who haven't listened to this segment before, Phil gives me a lot of good ideas. We have listeners that text in, call in, so you can always text or call in at 877-377-6963 on the Cherokee Casino hotline if you have a suggestion for me, because again, I'm a youth. I'm dumb. I haven't been cultured enough like Phil has since he has 18 years on me. So I have a lot of catching up to do. And so I have compiled a list on my cell phone that's like 60-something movies deep. And so I'm constantly trying to cross them off my list. So when certain adults are having conversations and one of them bring in a pop culture reference, I actually know what they're talking about and don't just have to sit there and I can actually enter the conversation. Slapshot was great. There was some just incredible lines in that movie that will and never be broadcasted on a movie or TV show today. It was just wild. And it's just like the classic late 70s, early 80s sports movie. Thought it was great.
Yeah, but there are some characters from that movie that live on. I mean, the Hanson brothers are the highlight of the movie. Paul Newman is so good in the movie, too. But the Hanson brothers with the pregame brawl, and just the fact that they were such goons, you know, don't get me into that stinking root beer. They brought their freaking toys. I mean, the Hanson brothers made that movie, really made that movie. I love Slapshot, Ty. You're going to make me go watch that later tonight.
It was a good one. So my assignment to you was Undeclared, and like, what's the other? Freaks and Geeks, it was produced by Judd Apatow. So
and has actors that we all know now. I mean, there's Why am I forgetting?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen is right there.
Jay Baruchel.
Jenna Fisher. Jenna Fisher's in this first episode that I watched, and it's about a freshman moving into college dorm first day. And the next thing you know, his dad shows up, says his mom wants to divorce him, stays over, has a huge party with his dad there. He meets a girl in the dorm. I mean, you know what this reminded me of, though, Ty? It just reminded me of my first semester at Indiana University, where I lived on the 10th floor in the Briscoe dorm, and we were such morons that by the end of the first semester, Ty, everybody was kicked out of their rooms on this dorm floor. The dorm floor was empty for the second semester because we were such goons. I mean, listen to some of the stuff we did. And this, I didn't do this. I mean, I drank and had a lot of fun, but I didn't throw a flaming scarecrow out of the window like some other people did. A flaming scarecrow thrown out of the window. I did not lean a giant garbage can up against the elevator filled with water so that when the door opened, the elevator was unusable for the next 2 weeks. I did not wipe feces on the wall like some others did, but this sort of reminded me of my first semester at Indiana University just because my dorm was filled with morons in a very good way. I look upon them with wonder and nostalgia because it's been, what is that? It's been 25 years since that flaming scarecrow fell out of the Briscoe dorm at Indiana, and I will never forget the sight of that thing.
I think the dumbest thing I did was I had too much R&R whiskey freshman year, and that combined with Slims caused me to puke in the sinks of Yoakum Hall, filled one or two of them up, I can't remember, and I turned on the faucet thinking that the throw up would just go down the drain. The next morning I woke up, our bathroom
still there.
Our bathrooms were completely flooded with my throw up, and I pretended like I did not know who did it or I didn't see one at all, but I ended up confessing to my floor mates at the end of the year. It's like, guys, y'all remember the throw up thing? Yeah, that was me. So there's one of my dumb stories. I wish I could go more into detail on some of yours, but we only got about a minute left. So you do need to save these though.
Well, this is what I want to assign you for this week. This is Rage Against the Machine, a heavy metal group. I don't know if heavy metal is the right way to describe them. Very popular in the 1990s. They are reforming after 20 years, and that's getting some people fired up. You've got one of our new rejoins from Rage Against the Machine. So I'm either going to assign you Rage Against the Machine, or I want you to see the movie This Is Spinal Tap. I think it's the first ever fake rockumentary ever made by Rob Reiner, and I think you'll like it. So you get a pick.
Okay, so I'll decide on that. So there's videos that people make all the time. Like nowadays, it's kind of a millennial theme. I want you to watch some of these Jack Manley videos on YouTube. I might text you something in place of that, but that's what I've got for you right now is these videos that he makes on 6th Street in Austin, Texas.
All right, sounds good. Ty's on his own for the first hour tomorrow. I'm courtside for Arkansas women's basketball, but I will be with you tomorrow. Get up, get out, get better.